Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. Today we're going to be taking a look at this product here. This is the NEWO portable air pump and compressor. So this will help you blow up your basketballs, footballs, anything like that. Of course, your bicycle tires, motorcycle tires, and of course, possibly even car tires. So we're going to dive in today. We're going to put it through a test and see how well it does today on Tech Motoring. Hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, and welcome back everybody. So we have here the NEWO air pump, and so we got a couple things to do today. We're going to take a look at this product, open it up, see everything you get here in the box, and then we're going to put it through some tests today. So one of the things we're going to be doing is blowing up a basketball, just so you can see that. So we've got a basketball off the screen here. We also got a bike over here, so we're going to be blowing up some bike tires, and then at the very end, we're going to see how well this does to blow up the tire of this vehicle behind me here. And I'm curious to see how it does because of a little discrepancy I see between the website and the actual instruction manual. So let's take a look at the product real quick. So this is the box it comes in, pretty nice. Just says NEWO on the front here. On the back here, it gives us some information, like it's got a 1200 milliamp hour battery. It does say on the back here, next to the XCOOL label, which is the company that distributes this, it does say car tire inflator pump. So it does say on this label that it is a car tire inflator. So I wanted to point that out because I'm going to be pointing something else out to you in a little bit. So in the box here, we do have the NEWO air pump here. So we'll look at that in a little bit. And then we get a couple extra accessories here, like a little carrying bag, which is kind of nice. It's always nice to have a carrying bag, put all the extra accessories in it here. So let's take a look at this. And so in this accessory bag here, we get the charging cable, which is a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. We also get the pin inflator tool to blow up your basketballs, footballs, whatever. And then we also have this right here, which is the Presta valve adapter. So if you have a bike with a Presta valve on it, as opposed to just the typical Schrader valve like you would see on cars and most other bikes, they do give you the adapter for the Presta valve, which I think is kind of a cool addition there. So we'll take a look at this more in depth in a short while. In the meantime, let's take a look at the actual NEWO air pump itself. So here is the actual air pump. So as you can see, it's just a little bit bigger than my hand. It's about the size of a little smaller than a can of soda maybe. So you can see it's a pretty portable size. You could probably put this in your backpack if you were to go out on a bike trip in your bike or something and you wanted to have an extra, air pump tool with you just in case you needed it. So I think that could be pretty good size for that. It's pretty light as well. Obviously it has to have a battery pack in it, so it's got a little bit of density to it. On the bottom here, we can see that there is a little rubber seal here. This little rubber seal covers up that USB-C port for charging it. On the front here, we do have our screen that gives you the information. So if we want to turn this on, we just hold the play pause button in the middle there. The screen will turn on and it gives you some information. You do have some presets here, so you can go through the presets, which is, you have your bicycle preset, which gives you, 38 pounds is what it presets that to, just in case it should land somewhere where you need to be. But you can adjust that up or down with the plus and minus button right here on the side. You could go through the presets for those one for a ball. So obviously if you have a basketball, football, something like that, it's already preset for you. So, and of course you could just adjust from there. And then you have a custom one, which means that you could customize whatever you want this preset to be. Now this is good for up to a claimed 150 PSI. So quite a bit of PSI. And that's why we're going to try this on the tire of this vehicle in a little bit. We also have a little button here for light. So you actually do have a light on this. So if you need a little flashlight at night, let's say you're trying to blow up a tire at night, you do have a little flashlight not only for safety, but also for assistance as well, which is kind of a nice perk. You also get this air hose here, which gets stored in the body of the NEWO air pump, and then you just screw that to the top of the air pump like so. And so you have your Schrader valve here at the end. So you just plug that into anything that takes a Schrader valve. And of course, once again, if you have a Presta valve, like on a bicycle, you can go ahead and just screw that adapter onto the end of this here and then you could use that for blowing up tires with a Presta valve. So nice to see that. So yeah, very interesting, very cool, compact design. Now let's put it through some tests and see how well it does. So first test, let's just blow up a basketball real quick and see how well it does. We'll even use the preset here on the screen. So it says 8 pounds, and I know the basketball says somewhere between 7 and 9 pounds. So let's see how well this does, and we'll kind of show you the step-by-step process for that. All right, so here we have a basketball that's pretty deflated, as you can see, and needs some air in it, so no problem. That's why we got the NEWO here. So as you can see, we got the little needle filler end right there. So what we're gonna do is just gonna stick this into the basketball. There we go. And we have this automatically on the preset. Now the preset for a ball is 8 pounds, and this says between 7 and 9. So seems like we're already at the right preset. All we're gonna do now is once we're on that preset, hit the play pause button. Just give it a couple minutes. You can see there on the screen that it is filling up, so we're currently at 5 PSI. Its target is 8. 6 PSI. There's 7. And there's 8. All right, and there we go. So it hit 8 pounds, and probably like about 1 to 2 seconds later, it had shut off. All right, so you join us now with this pretty flat bike tire. As you can see here, it's been sitting for a while. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change this to our preset to bike, which defaults that to 38 PSI. Not sure if you can see that, but it is 38 PSI. So all we're gonna do is take off this valve cover here. All right, there we go. So we got our air pump screwed onto our valve. So now what we're gonna do is hit the play pause button here, and we're gonna watch this tick up, and we'll see how well it does. All right, so as you can see, we just hit 38 PSI, and I'm not sure how long that took. I'll put it down in the bottom corner here, but probably about a minute and a half or so to blow up that tire. Now it says 37, so it might have just regulated a little bit. Let's top it off again. Okay, so let's see, we just topped it off back up to 38 PSI. So probably not a bad idea to let it sit in there for an extra couple seconds while it regulates the pressure. And as you can see, we are now 38 pounds at our target of 38 pounds. Now the tires feel pretty good. And yeah, so that looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and unscrew this from the valve. And we do have a tiny bit of heat on this hose. Now there is a caution thing here that says hot, because these hoses do get very, very warm regardless of what kind you buy. This is usually something that gets pretty hot. So now that we've seen it do that, let's go ahead and give it a shot on the car. All right, you join us now with the NEWO air pump here next to our car tire. So I dropped this down to about 30 PSI, and we're gonna try to pump this up to about 40 PSI, and we're gonna see how well it works. Now, one thing I do want to point out in the user manual, the electric air pump can only use for replenishing car tires in an emergency. Do not use it for long-term inflation or long-time inflation. So that kind of throws me off as far as what this thing is rated for, because it does say car tires in the description of the product, and also says it on the box, and it says you could do it, but only in the case of emergency. So what we're going to try to do today is use this and try to pump up this tire from 30 PSI to 40 PSI, which is about what it should be at. I think 39 is what it's supposed to be at. And then just see what we get out of it and see how long it lasts, because we did fully charge the battery on this. So we're going to see how well it lasts during that time, and we'll see if it could do it. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to turn on the air pump. We're going to put this over onto the custom one here. Goes down by half increments, so you see you get half PSI increments. So it takes a little bit. I don't think you could hold the button either. Oh, you can. Look at that. So if we hold the button, and we'll just drop it to 40. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in to our Schrader valve here on the car tire. All right. tight. And yep, so it's showing here, actually it's already showing some pressure. So it says we're about 32 PSI. So my other gauge was off by a couple PSI. This is showing 32. So we'll start at 32, see how long it takes up to get to 40 PSI. So we'll hit the play button. So it's currently at 40 PSI and holding, but it's not shutting off. There it goes. Okay, so we are now at 40 PSI in the tire. Took about 5-6 minutes maybe. It is a little bit warm down here where the compressor is. This is hot. Right where it says hot, yeah, it's hot there. Let's see, how about this? This is not too bad. I can take that off like so. All right, not too bad. All right, so let's talk about this and see if this is the right air pump tool for you. All right, everybody. Well, there is the NEWO air pump for blowing up your basketballs, footballs, whatever you want to do there, your bicycle tires, motorcycle tires, or even car tires. A little bit of a stretch on the car tire. So as you saw, we tried to pump up the tire on the car from about 30 PSI to about 40 PSI. It took about 5 to 6 minutes. It did sound like it was struggling a little bit to do it, and it did drain quite a bit of the battery in order to do that task as well. So I don't exactly know if you would be able to successfully blow up a tire from empty up to, let's say, 35 PSI or anything like that. I don't know if you would necessarily have enough battery in this to do that. Now, I, of course, 100% charged it prior to doing this test with the car tire, and we are down to a single bar of charge here. So you normally get 4 for fully charged. We are down to 1 just to go from 30 to 40 PSI. Now, of course, it all depends on your vehicle. This is a relatively large tire in a sense. So if you had a smaller car with a smaller tire, this would probably do just fine with that. If you just needed to top it off, or maybe you just needed to give it a little bit of a blow up just to get you down the road a little further, you know, this tool can probably do that. But I don't think I would recommend this for people who want to use this as a tool to keep in their car to blow up their car tires when they need to, because I don't think it's going to necessarily do that well, even though it does say that this is a car air pump. Anyway, other than that, I think it's a pretty cool tool to keep with you if you are traveling with a bicycle and you just need to blow up the tire real quick. I think obviously with it being battery powered makes it just that much more flexible for you to be able to use it wherever you are. So I think that type of stuff is really cool. I think the other thing that would be kind of cool about it is if it also doubled as like a battery pack where you can maybe charge up a phone in case of an emergency, like have a USB port that outputs as well. But that's, you know, starting to ask a lot for this type of tool. Obviously, its compact design is pretty nice. They do give you that little carrying case, which honestly, the carrying case is kind of like flimsy and chintzy, and it doesn't really work all that well. I mean, it just feels like it's going to start falling apart after a short while. I mean, let's take a look at this real quick. So you could see it's just basically like a net bag, and then you just take your air pump and you throw it in here like so, and that's about it. So there's really not much to this bag, and I feel like it's going to rip pretty easily, especially if you're like an outdoorsy type and you're going to be carrying this around a lot in your backpack or something like that. I don't think this bag's going to hold up very well, but whether or not you even need this. So yes, maybe the accessories could be a little bit better. Like for instance, the pin inflator tool that comes for like blowing up like a basketball or whatever, that kind of broke after a few uses. I used it like 2 or 3 times just to test it out, and it actually ended up it fell apart basically. The tip of it fell out of the threads, and I could push it back together and it seems to be okay, but it did end up actually falling apart on me. So yeah, maybe the accessories they give you with the inflator tool are not the greatest, so maybe think about bringing some extra ones with you or some more high quality tools or tips with you just in case you need them. But as far as I could tell from the Schrader valve part, that seems to work perfectly fine. It seems to be able to blow up bicycle tires perfectly fine. And once again, if you need to use it on a car in an extreme emergency, I could see it working, but don't expect to blow your tire up from completely empty to completely full, I think you're going to have some issues with this. Anyway, if this is the right one for you, make sure you look down in the description below. I'll have a link there so you can take a look at this product for yourself and see if this is the right air pump for your needs. And of course, I'd like to thank NEWO or XCOOL for sending this product out to me for review. Of course, if this video helped you out, make sure you give it the thumbs up just below the video there, hit that like button, and of course, subscribe to the channel for more product reviews like this. Thanks again very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. And remember, welcome to the future. Welcome to tech motoring. We'll see you soon.